Hi, everyone. I'm Carolyn Mano, and welcome to another edition of Olympic Classics, a look back at some of the greatest moments in Olympic history. And today we are revisiting the women's gymnastics all-around competition from the Seoul Games in 1988. And this event featured a head-to-head showdown between two outstanding gymnasts, Romania's Daniela Silivas and her stunning technical skill against the powerful Elena Shushanova of the Soviet Union. So let's go back to Seoul on September 23rd, 1988, with Dick Enberg, Mary Lou Retton, and Bart Connor.
Welcome to Gymnastics Hall. This is the big Olympics moment for the gymnasts to crown the new Nadia, the new Mary Lou, the all-around champion. And the first rotation has begun. Dick Enberg with Mary Lou Retton and Bart Connor. And next up on the uneven bars will be the woman who enjoys a slight lead, Elena Shushanova. Daniela Silivas of Romania is second. There are three Americans in the competition, led by Phoebe Mills, the national champion. She's sixth. Brandy Johnson tied for 10th. And Kelly Garrison-Steeves is 16th. That's Natalia Lishenova, very promising 15-year-old Soviet. And she scores a 9.825 on the uneven bars. Your pick, Mary Lou, on the bars.
I'm going to have to go with a perfect tie, Dick. Shushanova and Silivas both had 10s in the optional exercises, so I'm picking a tie for bars.
Shushanova finished second in the world, Aurelia Dobre last year.
What's his opening skill? It's going to be a reverse hex with a full twist. Nobody else does it. How about that? A Ginger with perfect form. It's very difficult to keep the legs tight together when you catch those release moves. Watch these giant swings. Look at the power. She sets up a full twisting double back. One hop. She's going to have to stick those landings. She might be opening the door for Silivas.
And Bart, you watched the men's competition, and it really came down to sticking the landings, didn't it?
Absolutely. In fact, Liukin lost the all-around title to Artyomov because he did not stick his last tumbling run a full in at the end of his floor routine. I think it's going to take sticking landings to win this title. Of course, there's the full twisting, reverse hex. And the next move was called a Ginger, invented by Eberhard Ginger for the men's high bar, and Shushanova does it beautifully on the uneven bars. This is the full twisting double back. You'll see she does a double back and twists right in the middle, and she opens up just a hair early, and of course the hop on the landing will have to be a 1/10 of a point deduction.
And there it is, a 9.90. And there's some similarities here, Mary Lou Retton. Shushanova and Silivas, you were battling Szabo of Romania in '84, and it was the same rotation.
Absolutely. I started on bars, and both of the competitors are going to end on vault. And I tell you, it's going to be a battle. I think the floor exercise is going to determine it.
Now, you were the Shushanova type. She's the power gymnast. And Silivas?
Absolutely. Silivas was the Szabo, or is the Szabo type. She's more the perfectionist, the technician. As you can see, her bars is so precise. No form breaks whatsoever.
I think there's a little bit of an advantage for Silivas in that she's going to follow in every rotation except the vault. She'll be following Shushanova. So in other words, she'll take advantage of the setup. The scores will be high, and if Silivas can just hit her routines, the 10s might be there.
She scored a 10 in the optionals, as did Shushanova in the unevens.
Keep in mind that Shushanova is just 5/100ths of a point ahead of Silivas, and Silivas right now, so far, is just nailing this routine. There's a stuck landing. That's what we got to watch for today.
She needs a 9.975 to take the lead. 9.9 for Shushanova. How did it appear to you, Mary Lou?
Absolutely. I think Silivas definitely has a lead over Shushanova. And Bart, I totally agree with you. Those landings are going to be the most important thing. Every 10th, if you take a 10th for a dismount on every event, that's 4 tenths, and you cannot allow that one hop or that one step. In fact, that's what opened the door for me in '84. Szabo, excuse me, Szabo took that one step off of her bars, and I opened the door, which opened the door for me.
A perfect 10 for Dobre, and it may take that kind of high level, or Silivas, and we were thinking about Dobre being the world champion, and she has fallen to 6th, where she's tied with Phoebe Mills coming into the competition, but Silivas, another 10. And it may take that kind of high quality to win the all-around gold. She has the lead over Shushanova. We'll be right back. Here's 15-year-old Phoebe Mills, currently in 6th place. First rotation for her is the vault. On her first vault, a 9.8. She'll try to better that.
She is having the meat of her life. She looks so well prepared and so fit. One small hop on the landing, but that's a Yurchenko full in a laid out position. You see most of the top gymnasts are using a vault of that caliber here. Notice she does a round off onto the board, onto the horse, gets a good block, a minor form break in the air, and a hop on the landing.
And the judges saw both those minor flaws in her vault, and the score a 9.8. So the same as her first vault, 9.8 on the first rotation for Phoebe Mills. Aurelia Dobre, the world champion. She's returned to this competition despite a very severe knee surgery. She's not 100%, but this is an event where she sparkles.
She is such a lovely dancer. It's unfortunate that because of that knee injury, she hasn't been able to show the level of difficulty that she showed in Rotterdam. It's a very nice opening run, a whip back through to a tuck double back. But of course, in Rotterdam, she used a full twisting double back. It really is nice to see, though, that she is looking good. Many of us suspected we wouldn't even have an opportunity to see her perform at all here in Seoul because of that injury. And although she is not yet 100%, she is still a pleasure to watch.
She is tied with Phoebe Mills going into this competition for 6th place. Mills with a 9.8 on the vault.
Double full punch front. Nicely done.
It's been tough for her to smile this week, hasn't it?
It really has been hard on her, and certainly all the expectations coming off of Rotterdam was that she was going to be the Olga and the Nadia and the Mary Lou of these games. And she knows that she's not 100%, and yet it's been very difficult for her to get through this week, and yet she sure looks good here. Here's her last tumbling run. Double twist. She usually uses a double back there, as she did last fall.
15-year-old Aurelia Dobre, and she scores a 9.85. So with a 9.80 for Phoebe Mills, Mills drops to 9th. Brandy Johnson is tied for 11th, and Kelly Garrison Steves tied for 17th. The leader after the first rotation is Daniela Silivas.
Once again, you can notice here, she just double twist, nicely landed. A very pretty exercise, but of course the reason why she got the 9.85 was because the lack of difficulty.
Brandy Johnson, as we start the second rotation, is in her strongest event, the vault. In fact, she's made it to the event finals here in Seoul in this apparatus.
Brandy is such a powerhouse. She's going to do the same Yurchenko full that we saw from Phoebe Mills a little earlier. Wow. She had tremendous distance from the horse, which of course is one of the things that the judges are looking for. She did take a hop on the landing, but the position in the air was very nice.
Kidney ailment when she was a child. She was in and out of the hospital the first 4 years of her life, and here she is, powerful and exciting, and in the Olympic Games as a 15-year-old, and in the event finals in the vault.
Watch how she does this. There's the round off onto the board. Now watch, she powers back into the horse very nicely, gets a good push and carries the distance very well. But what she's going to need to do, because of the over-rotation, and she tends to overdo things because she's so powerful, she needs to get her hands back into the vaulting horse quickly so she can block a little more and hang it up in the air and hopefully drop straight down on the landing. That's the kind you can stick.
9.80 on the first vault. She'll try to better that. 2 chances, and the better score is kept. She had a 9.725 on the floor, at least a 9.8 now on the vault.
Here we go. She needs a good block. Oh, she changed her vault. She completely did a different vault. What a talent.
All right, and it's heating up here with the second rotation starting. First, let's look at the leaders. Silivas by 0.05 of a point over Shushanova. Boganskaya, let's not forget this 15-year-old Soviet. She's in third and had a 9, and here she is on the uneven bars.
And wait till you see this routine. Watch this opening combination. Giant with a full. She'll do another one. Giant with a full. And watch this. Look at the height on that reverse hecht. She has such nice long lines. It really does help her swing mechanics on the uneven bars. Oh, pretty work on a toe on, toe off. And there's a dismount, a tuck double. Whoa.
An elegant line. She reminds me a bit of Ludmila Turasheva, who was the great champion for the Soviets.
She really works bars aggressively. We've even seen her do a more difficult exercise in practice. But watch what she does here. Giant with a full right over the top. That is so pretty. It's very, very difficult to do that combination. She's going to do 2 in a row and then immediately set up the reverse hecht. And look at the height. Not quite Charles Lake's, but pretty nicely done.
The leaders, meanwhile, have moved to the beam. And I want to get Mary Lou Retton's reaction to that event. That, of course, was her very favorite apparatus.
There was a little sarcasm in that, Dick. I'm going to have to go with Silivas on beam. She's just more technically perfect.
Yeah, you picked them squared away. You thought they'd both get a 10 on the uneven bars, and you were almost right. Just a little hop by Shushanova cost her 1/10 of a point and a 9-9, and with it the lead. There's Shushanova and Silivas. We'll see their performance on the beams when we return. Welcome back. We're live. Second rotation. Phoebe Mills currently in 9th place on the uneven bars.
She's going to do 2 release moves right at the beginning. There's a reverse hecht. Now watch, she's going to do the second one and catch this time with her hands in a cross change position and a half turn. Shoot over to the low bar. Remember, the judges must see that you work both the high bar and the low bar.
Good.
Full twist. And a tuck double, a little shorter rotation. It's good that she pulled that around because she really had to fight that.
You see the wristbands used by Phoebe Mills. That's part of some Olympic history. They were actually in Los Angeles in 1984, worn by Mary Lou Retton.
Yeah, those were my wristbands. I performed my routine in '84 using those same wristbands. And when I got back to Houston, I took Phoebe into the locker room and I sat her down and I said, Phoebe, I wore these in my Olympics. I want you to wear them in yours. So they're kind of a good luck thing between Phoebe and I.
Phoebe Mills, you saw Bella Crowley, her coach, and heard him during the routine.
There's the reverse hecht. Good form. Now watch, she's going to do the same move, but now watch what she does. To make it a little different, she's going to reach back and she's going to grab the bar with her hands in a cross position. See how she reaches over? That's very difficult to re-grasp. And of course, what it does is allow her to turn around and shoot over the low bar.
She scores a 9.85. Her coach Caroli watching body language through the routine. And but for that hop, that would have been a very big score for her, and even at that, some 9.9 to 9.8 and a 9.85 total. And now we go to the balance beam. This is the only event that Elena Shushanova has not won a major international championship, the beam. Silivas's strength is here. We get to the vault, the last rotation at Shushanova as the defending world champion. That's the only event that Silivas has never won in a major international competition. At the moment, Shushanova, 0.05 of a point in second place. We saw her in between rotations. She had her eyes closed for a couple of minutes. Bart just really focusing in.
There's no question that visualization is so important to good success in gymnastics, not only in terms of just learning skills, but how to keep your composure and talk yourself through your exercise, because the gymnasts must talk themselves through the routine and encourage themselves every moment. Not look back at what you just did, but continue to focus on what is coming up next. And of course, she's going to need a lot of visualization because her balance beam routine is so incredibly difficult.
Natalia Lishenova, that's Silivas, of course, but Lishenova, the teammate of Shushanova, currently in 4th place, has just preceded her, so we're waiting for Leshenova's score. And Svetlana Boganskaya, a 9.95, as she led off on the uneven bars, and Boganskaya in 3rd place is maintaining a solid spot. 9.875 for Leshenova is the score, and now Shushanova can go on, and she has a routine that, well, we've said it several times, is punishing.
Yeah, it's brutal. She has a trick early in her exercise that is incredible. It's called a back straddle down with a full twist, and we'll get a chance to see it here in just a minute.
She had a nervous warm-up. She fell once.
Look at the strength on this mount. There's a flange. She changed her routine a little bit from what she used in the team optionals. She did a variation in that flange position. She's not doing that here. Layouts. We've seen her win a lot of major international titles, but I don't think there's any title that she wants more than this. She actually looks a little tense to me. No wonder. Look at that move. There's the back straddle down with a full turn. That was the best I've seen her do it in competition. Very nice series of leaps. We watched her practice for the last couple of weeks, and every turn is right on. And even when she makes a little mistake, you can tell she's completely disgusted with herself. Because she knows she's going to need 10s, and certainly she has already opened the door for Silivas. Here's the tuck double. Oh, and she's fighting again, but she did not quite nail that.
There seemed to be a little bobble at the end of her first tumbling run, and a little hop at the end. So how do you see it, Mary Lou?
Those definitely are going to cost her, and that's why I picked Silivas over Shushanova on beam.
Look at this move. Watch how brutal that is. She actually catches with her rib cage more than with her hands. No other girl's crazy enough to even try that. Once again, look, it's a back with a full and crunch.
Oh, that hurts. And she'll be just as strong on the floor using some moves that no one else tries.
Here's the tuck double, and she wants these landings so badly. She pulls it around, and she just can't quite hold it.
And 9.925 for Shushanova. And Silivas follows immediately behind. So you couldn't pack the drum anymore with all the girls in the various rotations. Here you have the top two, one against the other through the first 3 rotations. Shushanova will go first. Silivas will go second until the vault, when Silivas has to go as the very first person in the rotation and Shushanova as the very last. She has a lead of 0.05 of a point.
How about that? That's an original mount, and of course, one of the things the judges need to see is original elements.
She needs a 9.9 to maintain the lead.
Handspring, layout, layout. Wow. I really think it's a terrific advantage for Silivas to go behind Shushanova, because Shushanova sets her up, and I think the pressure is on Shushanova. And once Silivas sees that Shushanova made little errors here and there, she really pours it on. Oh, and she fought that beautifully. That was a layout. She almost bobbled. Oh, that's a full turn, which is, of course, a requirement. It's probably one of the easier skills to do on the beam compared to the acrobatic element, but in competition, it's very difficult to nail that. Here's the dismount. Okay.
She had a little hop in the end. She's trying to become the second Romanian to ever win the all-around Olympic gold medal. Of course, the first was 12 years ago, Nadia Comaneci. And when Comaneci returned to Romania, there was a picture in the paper and a little girl behind Comaneci, and it was identified as Silivas.
She was a little bit off on that layout, but she stepped back nicely to save the position. Very smart work. Here's the dismount. Back handspring, step down, and then back handspring, feet together to a tuck double. She cranks those legs out so she rotates faster and over-rotates just slightly. Good finish to that routine, though.
Shushanova had a 9.925, and it is a 9.9 for Silivas. She maintains the lead, but Shushanova gets back that 0.25 of a point on the beam. So interestingly, it's going just the opposite that the experts would feel, and Mary Lou Retton certainly is one of those, as Shushanova picks up points on the beam. 2 rotations to go. We'll be back after these words.
Gather round.
Bryant, it's going to be tight right through the final rotation. They're at the halfway mark, and Daniela Silivas of Romania leads Elena Shushanova by just fractions. You have to go out to the hundredths. It's that close, and both are capable of throwing 10s in the next rotation, the floor exercise. There is Silivas. She's from Deva. That's the Romanian team's training site, and as we said, when Nadia was still on the team, they had a photo in the newspaper, and Silivas was in the background. The caption said, "The next Komenich," when she was around 8, 9 years old, and here she is with that chance, 2 rotations away. And there's Elena Shushanova, tight lift, tough. She is, as is the case with Silivas on the floor, they're both expected to get 10s. You're going to see some sensational gymnastics. And speaking of a sensation, she burst on the scene in Rotterdam, won the world championship. Aurelia Dobre, this is her second vault. She's trying to better a 9.70, her second rotation.
And she's using the laid out Yurchenko that most of the top gymnasts here are using. Very clean and nice. Certainly a year ago when we saw her in Rotterdam before the knee injury, she was a little more powerful and a little more explosive. And I think if she had a couple more months, we would see her back in the race for the gold here. Unfortunately, you can see she has not really gotten all the way back. She has a decent push, decent height, minor form breaks. She's a great, great gymnast. We look forward to seeing her at 100% soon.
A 9.825 for Dobre on the vault. She currently is in 7th place. Phoebe Mills is in 8th place, but it's Silivas, Shushanova, Boganskaya, 1, 2, 3 after the first 2 rotations. So Daniela Silivas and Elena Shushanova, as expected, in a tight battle for the gold medal. Now they'll move to the floor exercise.
Dick, I'm 0 for 2 going into this. I don't know. I'm a little afraid to pick a winner, but I'm going to go with Shushanova.
You said earlier you thought this is where the championship, the gold medal, would be won.
I think it's going to be determined here because vaulting is pretty much a Shushanova event. She's a world champ on it over and over. But I'm going to take Shushanova on floor.
So knowing that Shushanova has the vault to finish, and that's her strength, but Silivas has scored 10s.
Yes, she has, but she's going to be throwing a difficult first tumbling pass. It's a double-double, and she's stumbled in it in the optionals. And if she can hit that, well, we might have a tie. I don't know. It's going to be close.
Take us through just how the judges look at these routines and make their scores.
Yeah, I really think it's important to break it down to see how they derive at the scores, especially in these optional exercises. 3 points are given for value parts. Those are the A, B, C, and D moves. 2.5 is for combination, and that's for specific requirements on each different piece of equipment. Now, under execution, that's form and technique. It used to be worth 4 points. Now it's worth 4.2 because 0.2 of a point for virtuosity, which is extra special technique or amplitude, is awarded in the execution category. Now, every gymnast just about at these games has a routine that's worth 9.7. The 0.3 of a point for bonus is what everybody's looking for. And of course, in those 0.3, 0.2 is for originality and 1/10 is for an additional D. So if you have a routine that's stocked with difficult moves and D moves, you can get the perfect 10.
And to show you how perfect Silivas has been, she's been on in 10 events, and this competition has 5 perfect 10s. And here is the scoring. Silivas, Shushanova right there, just a 1/4 of a point could put her back in the lead. Boganskaya of the Soviet Union. Podorak surprisingly is 4th. Little 15-year-old Soviet Lashenova is 5th, and Dujeva of Bulgaria is in 6th place. Here the women are moving to their next rotation, the 3rd, for their warm-up. We can tell you that Dobre, the defending world champion, is now 7th. Mills 8th. Brandy Johnson has moved to 12th place, and Kelly Garrison-Steeves, the other American gymnast in this all-around competition, is in 17th place. We haven't said much about Boganskaya, the 15-year-old, but she is solidly in third. And I think it's important to point out, with Silivas only 25 1/1000ths of a point ahead of Shushanova, that the first three really, Bart Connor, are in a lock position for a medal. Even a major fall to 5/10 deduction, they'd still not fall out of the top three.
And Boganskaya is putting a lot of pressure on the leaders. Her first two events were 9.95 and 9.95. So if either of Silivas or Shushanova have a major break, it could open the door up for the silver or the gold for Boganskaya.
The narrowest margin ever, Mary Lou Retton. She won by 5/100ths of a point in 84. Well, within the next hour, the 1988 all-around women's champion will be crowned here in Seoul, Korea. And the 4-year reign of Mary Lou Retton will end. Elena Shushanova, she scored a perfect 10 in the optional floor exercise. She is as brilliant as Silivas in this rotation, and she again will lead Silivas. Shenova, her teammate, has started the competition on floor and has just completed, and we're waiting for that score. Bart, you made an interesting comment earlier that, and coming from you and your love for the sport and the fact that you have a bias, you really think that this is the medal in this sport.
I really think the women's all-around gold medal is the one that really sort of exudes what gymnastics is all about. And the young ladies are so well trained and so fit, and it's going to come down to 25 thousandths of a point perhaps that separate the top ones, and that makes it very, very exciting.
We're just going to let you at home judge these two outstanding women who will go back to back. You score this routine. Shushanova first. Oh, my. Elena Shushanova, Mary Lou Retton.
It's a 10.
That's a 10.
It's a 10.
There didn't seem to be any bobbles, any minor breaks.
And she was a little tight in her first couple of events, and she really let loose here. Boy, this was excellent. Round off back handspring, full in double back. She can do any trick in the book. She just opted to use that one because look at how easily she stuck the landing.
Zegonisha, the popular Russian song, was the music to which she performed.
Round off back handspring, tuck double back with ease. She's not even breathing hard at the end of that routine.
And now the pressure falls on Silivas. She has just seen an excellent routine, waits for the score. And should that be a 10 for Shushanova, maybe it isn't an advantage to go second. You know you have to be perfect to maintain the lead.
I always liked knowing what I had to get before I went. I don't know how all the other gymnasts are, but I knew if I needed a 10, I'd like to know it.
There it is. A perfect 10 for Shushanova. That happens to be the 99th perfect 10 awarded in the Olympic Games. Of course, the first by Komanic back in 1976. And look at the Romanian judge, scored it a 9-9. But, of course, the bottom and top score is thrown out in the 4/10ths in between. So Shushanova with a 10. And now the answer from Daniela Silivas.
Once again, let's just watch.
sellout crowd at Gymnastics Hall. If you're going to judge by their reaction, Silivas has scored a 10+. Her music, an updated bit of Mozart.
What a pleasure to have an opportunity to witness that firsthand. What a treat. Watch this double full punch front as she bounds out of that, comes back across the mat, 2 flip-flops to another double full punch front.
And a perfect 10 for Silivas is the score. And Mary Lou, the dance routine that Silivas threw in, I think that's where the crowd reacted so strongly.
Oh, absolutely. She made the crowd feel a part of the routine, and that's important. When you get the crowd support, it just gives you that extra confidence when you're out there on the floor performing.
So the Romanian judge, obviously, that gave a 9-9 to Shushanova, scores the 10 for Silivas. Perfect 10s all the way across, all 6 judges. And that means now it will come down to the vault, as Silivas has scored another 10. That's 6 10s, perfect 10s for her in this competition. Aurelia Dobre on uneven bars. Currently in 7th place. This is her 3rd rotation.
That's a very pretty stalder to a Ginger. Here's her transition on the low bar. I like that. Stalder, half turn, glide, shoot through. So many of the girls go to the low bar and just do a couple of token skills, but she did some nice work on the low bar. Very good exercise.
Yeah, she's probably not going to medal, but she is performing really in a courageous manner. And you can see the crowd still takes to this young lady, as they did in Rotterdam. Waits for her score. And of course, in this rotation, the woman in 3rd place, 15-year-old Svetlana Boginskaya, is on the balance beam. She's next to last in the series. 3rd rotation, balance beam, Gabrielle Podorak.
She's very exciting. She has done so well here, and she's been completely overshadowed, of course, by the big names, but we're going to see a lot more of this young girl. How about that for control? Look at the pirouettes in a stag position.
Just 15 years of age. She replaced Katerina Szabo on this Romanian team after the World Championships last year. Brandy Johnson, meanwhile, ready to mount uneven bars.
Brandy has a couple of release moves right in the early part of her routine that are very difficult. Let's see if she can nail them. There's reverse heck. Oh, she's in a little close. This next one will be tough. She makes it.
He's currently in 12th place. Podorak in 4th place into this 3rd rotation.
Nice pike double for Brandy Johnson. Podorak, round off back handspring, tuck double, and she sticks it.
2 15-year-olds, one from Romania, one from the United States, the Orlando area, both with smiles as they complete their 3rd rotation.
Really nice. Round off back handspring, tuck double back. A good fighter.
Silivas 18 and Shushanova 19 are actually in the older class. In 3rd place, a 15-year-old who has grown 8 inches in the last 2 years, Svetlana Boginskaya. And here she is in her 3rd rotation. She's had 2 terrific rotations coming to the beam.
That's a great mount. It's a front on. And it's a great way of announcing to the judges right from the start that, hey, here I am. Oh, a little bobble on that layout. She is so lovely, though. Her long arms and long legs look so pretty as she moves through a really nice combination of acrobatic elements.
She's 5'2" and 97 pounds.
She looks like a giant compared to the rest of her teammates. Front handspring. Full turn, of course, a requirement. She had a nice save there, stylizing the finish of the full turn. Back handspring, layout right on. She has a very quick and sharp style, different than her floor exercise routine, which was much more fluid. Here's her dismount. Round off, tuck, double back. Good job.
Little bobble at the end. The daughter of a carpenter, and her mother's a nursery school teacher, 15-year-old Boginskaya.
Once again, this is a terrific angle to really get a perspective. As we watch her do her dismount, which is a round off, she lands with both feet on the beam, punches off, pulls the tuck around, and one little step.
And a 9.90, so Boginskaya stays in third behind Silivas and Shushanova. There are the scores. The Canadian judge saw it a 10, from Belgium a 9.8. All right, Charlie, and we're down to one exercise for the gold medal. The rotation is to the vault. Shushanova, Silivas, Mary Lou, this was your event. How do you see it?
Oh, Dick, I'm 0 for 3 now. I'm scared to even pick one here.
What do you think?
Well, with the women having 2 vaults, I'm afraid Silivas is going to surprise everyone and stick one of those vaults, but I'm going to have to go with this world champion Shushanova again.
It is an advantage that Silivas gets 2 tries at the 10, but Mary Lou says, of course, whoever wins this one will win the gold. They're separated by only 25 1/1000ths of a point. Now, here is exactly how it sets up. If Daniela Silivas, who is going first, she's ready now, scores a 10, she wins the gold medal. Shushanova cannot win. If she gets a 9.975, it's a tie if Shushanova, who goes last in the rotation, gets a 10. If she gets a 9.95, a 10 for Shushanova wins. So a 10 for Silivas, and she wins the gold.
Here we go. It's going to be a Yurchenko. Oh! Give it to her.
She thinks she has it. It's up to the judges. And one of the judges, interestingly, is Nellie Kim. There's Shushanova. She knows very well exactly the situation. It's not a matter of someone having to tell her that she doesn't want to know, Mary Lou. She knows what it'll take.
Boy, this was nice. There was only perhaps one possible fault. She was really in good position on the board. Her leg split there a little bit. Of course, we have the advantage of super slow-mo. We can see that. The judges, very hard to see that. Her feet scoot just a little bit. I don't know if they're going to give her the 10. Oh!
9.950. Let's see how the scoring went on that. I saw a couple of 10s. So she'll get a second chance. 9.95. And look at the judge from the Soviet Union, a 9.8. And that was Nellie Kim, the former Olympic gold medal champion. There she is. Korean name, half Korean, half Soviet. And now a second chance for a 10.
She's going to have to stick it.
She didn't. A little hop. And so Elena Shushanova, apparently the door is open. Let's wait to see how the judges scored it, but it can't be a 10. She did take a little hop, and she knows it.
Boy, if she could have just held that landing the way Mary Lou did back in '84, she could have had a lock. She's opened the door just a little bit for Shushanova. Boy, what nice position. She actually had a minor form break, but once again, that happened so quickly, it's hard to see. And you can see she's fighting it, and she scoots.
And she gets a 9.90, so she'll take the 9.95. That means that Shushanova wins it with a 10. And Shushanova has about a 10-minute wait. There are 6-7 gymnasts between Silivas and Shushanova. And there she is, waiting for her turn. The scores are consistently 9.9, all 6 judges. But a 9.95 is the score that Silivas will take. And Shushanova, her eyes, she just looking out of the corner of her eyes, and she knows that if she can be perfect, she's the world champion in this event, the vault, she earns the gold medal. It comes down to that tight a competition.
After billions and billions, these are the most important meals
on NBCSN.
All right, Bryant, and who knows better than Mary Lou Retton? At this moment, we're 3 competitors away from Shushanova's position on the vault. Silivas and Shushanova rewriting the rule book. They're averaging over 9.95 on all their routines. 11 perfect scores in 23 routines, and the 24th and last will be Shushanova's vault exercise. And Silivas can only wonder why couldn't I stick one of those vaults. It would take, again, the mathematics of it all, a 9.975 for Shushanova ties her for the gold, and a perfect 10 wins it. It needs to be a perfect 10 for the gold. Now, you won by 0.05 of a point. There's 25 1/1000ths of a point involved in this difference.
I tell you, Shushanova knows exactly what she needs to do. She's telling herself right now, I've done this vault thousands of times. I'm world champion on this event. I've just got to do it one more time. And she's got 2 chances for that.
As you were anticipating your vault, what were you thinking? And was Aurelia part of all of that? Did he try to settle you down, or did he just make you more excited?
Bella's a motivator, and actually it helps me because I work better under pressure. In my situation, I knew I needed that 10. And the same Shushanova knows she needs that 10. And she's trying to psych herself up, but you've got to be able to control that pumped feeling. You've got to be able to control it, and that's where it comes to the landing. And I think she can do it.
All right, let's bring you up to date on how the U.S. Women have done. Of course, 3 involved in this all-around competition. Here's Phoebe Mills on her best event, in her best event, the balance beam, and she ran into trouble. This is the 3rd rotation.
She normally does a back handspring layout here, and she was crooked. Her heel was off the beam there, as you can see, and she got in lots of trouble. She had to leave the 2nd layout out, and of course made a major error in grabbing the beam and falling off 0.5 of a point. Phoebe was looking so good. In fact, still does. She'll be in the finals on a couple of pieces of equipment, but it's unfortunate that she pulled herself out of the running there with that mistake on beam.
9.275 for Mills with a major break. She now is in 15th place, and Kelly Garrison-Steves, after 3 rotations, in 16th. And here she is. On the uneven bars.
This is a good routine for Kelly. Good start. That's very nice. Reverse hecht. Once again, cast right to a handstand. Cross change front. I think she clipped her heel on that. At least it sounded like she did. But she did not break form or rhythm.
This is her last competition, 21 and married.
Nice job.
And that's her last dismount, where most of the girls in this sport are 15, worrying about their date. She's already a wife and a student, and 21, and she'll direct her pursuits elsewhere now. And here's the lovely Boginskaya of the Soviet Union on the floor.
This is a wild routine. Sit back and watch and tell me what you think of it.
Svetlana Boginskaya to the music of Bizet. Boy, that was a unique routine.
Reminiscent of Ludmila Tereshcheva, who in the finals in the '76 Olympics in Montreal did a really wild, outrageous routine, and it really made an interesting contribution to the sport of gymnastics.
Of course, gymnasts through the years have won more than their share of medals, and the all-time Olympic record in any sport is 18 by gymnasts. Larissa Latinina of the Soviet Union.
Not only did she have really creative dance work, but of course she mixed in some beautiful tumbling with a nice full in.
Meanwhile, Elena Shushanova, as you see, this again is one vault away from her turn. Her teammate Natalia Lashenova is taking her second vault. We're live.
Her last tumbling run was a front step out to a double full. Not the most difficult tumbling run, but very clean.
And the score, a 9.90 for Boginskaya. She has locked up the bronze medal. She'll win the bronze. Natalia Lashenova is just 15, as is Boginskaya, so the future for the Soviet women continues strong, and there's 110 vault away from sweeping all the golds thus far. Vladimir Artemov led a Soviet sweep in the men's all-around yesterday. They've won both team titles, the Soviets, men and women, and a perfect 10 vault by Shushanova, their top gymnast after Lashenova, would give them another gold. Here's Lashenova. She was my dark horse pick, and she's just the kind you want to pick up and hug and take home with you. And she's deceptively powerful. She got a 0 on the first vault. She landed right on her back.
Yeah, this can be a very dangerous vault if it's not done technically well. We've seen her in practice do it beautifully every time. Let's see if she can pull this one off. Okay, a little short, but she was very glad that she got her hands back to the horse, and not quite the push that she was hoping for, but she pulled it around.
Elena Shushanova is next. To tie a 9.975, that's just as a minor form break, and to win a perfect 10. You can't ask more of a great athlete in this sport, in her sport, than to demand perfection for the gold medal. For after all, that is what it's all about, the gold, to be as close to perfect as you can be. And that's, look at Lashenova trying to loosen her up. And there she goes on a trip that will bring her either the gold or the silver. Can you possibly put yourself and your feelings inside that Soviet body, Mary Lou?
Absolutely, Dick. I am feeling for Shushanova right now because I was in the same exact situation she was in. And before I got the go-ahead from the judge, I looked over and I saw Bella over there, and I got that last look of confidence that he gave me. And I heard him say, now or never. You've got to do the best vault of your life, and that's what Elena Shushanova has got to do right now. The best vault of her life.
It's in the judge's hands. And of course, one of the judges, Nellie Kim, somewhat embarrassingly gave Silivas a 9.8, which was really a low score. You know she's going to score at a 10. There it is, a perfect 10, and as it was in 1984, Olympic history repeats itself. Elena Shushanova, a perfect 10 on the final rotation, the vault, as did Mary Lou Retton, and the gold medal goes to the Soviet in a dramatic battle. She beats Daniela Silivas of Romania. No argument. All 6 judges scored it a 10. And the big red machine, the Soviets have another gold. And 19-year-old Elena Shushanova is the winner of gymnastics all-around title here in Seoul, Korea.
Le médaille, Olympic champion.
La médaille d'or et champion olympique. The gold medalist and Olympic champion. USSR, Elena Shushanova, scoring 79.662.
a total of 4 perfect tens between the top 2 finishers for the United States. The top finisher was Brandy Johnson in 10th place, with Phoebe Mills in 15th. And 4 years later in Barcelona, we would see the emergence of a new American superstar in Shannon Miller. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.